The accomplishments and contributions of Giovanni Falcone and also Paolo Borsellino are known around the world. This is true today, just as it was 16 years ago when they gave their lives in the fight against the mafia and against organized crime. I'm going to list all of those accomplishments today, as there are so many of them. But please let me mention a few things about Giovanni Falcone that stand out to me. First, he was extraordinarily bright, and he was a true visionary. He used investigative techniques that had never been tried before in Italy, and he cooperated with other prosecutors, not just in Milan and in Rome, but around the world. He was a leader for all in this regard. Second, he was a tireless worker, putting in 12 and 16-hour days and exhausting his younger colleagues. And finally, he loved Sicily, his home, and he was determined that it should be freed from the scourge of the mafia. In the Bible, in the Gospel according to John, it says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man who lays his life down for his friends." And of course, we must remember that he did not sacrifice alone. Many of his colleagues were also killed, both before and after his death. His wife, Francesca, and 3 of his bodyguards died with him, and he left behind family members, including his sister Maria, who's organized this event today, and who started the Falcone Foundation in his memory. The Falcone Foundation and you, his family and friends, are his legacy and carry on his work proudly. As children, the two of them grew up just a few blocks apart here in Palermo. Later, as members of the anti-mafia pool, they stood shoulder to shoulder against La Cosa Nostra. Borsellino was Falcone's confidant, and he was the closest anyone came to being his equal. Together, they interrogated Tommaso Buscetta and wrote the groundbreaking indictment in the first Maxi trial. Falcone once told Buscetta, "Don't worry, if I don't understand something, Dr. Borsellino will figure it out." Although the world mourns the loss of people as great as Judges Falcone and Borsellino, their families and friends, of course, miss them in an even more direct way. The inspiration of Judges Falcone and Borsellino have touched many people here in Italy and also in the United States. In my visits over the last few days with Italian law enforcement leaders, it was clear from their words and the tone of their voices how much they respected Judges Falcone and Borsellino. They explained how they draw strength from the examples of Judges Falcone and Borsellino to continue their good fight today. Men who worked with them proudly recalled their efforts together. Men who worked with them explained how they were honored to carry on the legacy of Judges Falcone and Borsellino. Of course, you are all well aware of the impact Judges Falcone and Borsellino have had on their Italian counterparts. And I would not suggest that my words can explain to you how you feel in your hearts. But perhaps I can shed a bit of light, a bit of new light by relating how respected they are by American judges and prosecutors. I am certain of this because last week I was speaking with Justice Antonin Scalia of the U.S. Supreme Court. He is the first Italian-American to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, and he is in fact a Sicilian American, as his father immigrated from this beautiful island to Brooklyn, New York, just before the justice was born. It was one of the great honors of my life to serve as a law clerk for Justice Scalia some 15 years ago, shortly after I graduated from law school. When I spoke to Justice Scalia, he told me how he had the opportunity to spend time with Judge Falcone here in Sicily back in the mid-1980s, and how Justice Scalia was so impressed with Judge Falcone's intellect and his courage, and how he was a model for bravery and for making the world a better place.